Hello and welcome to my channel where I show you what I'm creating and the products that I'm using to create them. Today I'm doing a one-page layout using pictures of my son when he was a baby eating spaghetti. And full transparency, he's about 18 months in these pictures and he is now 26. So I'm a little behind on his book, but I'm using these pictures and I'm using a sketch that I've saved on my Pinterest a long time ago. I have it here on my iPad if you can see around the glare. Here we go. So I'm using some banners and two pictures. These circles I thought I would replace with plates of pasta or something food related. So this is my inspiration. And I knew when I pulled out these pictures that I wanted to mimic the colors in his outfit and I wanted them to be tone on tone. So I actually went digging through my old papers and scraps to see what I could find. And I found this paper. This is coordinations that they sell. I don't know if they still sell it. I think they do at Joann's that I got years ago. And I had some scraps. It's double-sided. And this is that thick paper that you can sand. And so I'm going to use this for one color. There's three different banners colors on the sketch, and there's three colors in his outfit, so I thought that was perfect. So I found this one, and then I found this green polka dot paper that I've had for quite some time. This is not cardstock, it's just pattern paper. So I've got that, so you can kind of see how these colors are going to mimic his shirt. And then I found this blue, and this actually came from a paper pack that I got at Goodwill. I always check out their craft section when I'm at Goodwill, and it was from Colorbach. This cardstock, it's 8.5 by 11, but that's okay because I'm only going to use a small portion of it anyway. So I'll just flip through. It's really pretty, just different colors, different kind of like tie-dyed. I think they call it watercolor rainbow. Probably pretty old, but it was $3.50 and I had a 20% off coupon. It actually may have been on a week where it was dollar days. We used to have dollar days. Now it's $2 days, but anyways, so I picked that up from Goodwill. And I'm excited. It's the first time I'm going to get to use it today. So these are the colors I'm going to use. I'm going to mat my photos on white. I have pre-cut mats that I got from Hobby Lobby. It's not the same white. I'm using white willow as my base for this layout. It's pretty close, but it's just so convenient to have these pre-cut mats. I will trim it down a little bit. So my photos will go on white, and I will probably ink the edges with some of these colors just to make it pop off. So that is what I'm doing today. I'm going to get started by matting my photos and cutting some of these banners so that I can lay it out and get my inspiration from there, because I do want to bring in my title, obviously, and I want to bring in spaghetti plates for these round circles is what I'm thinking. But I need to see it come together so that I can do the next step. So I'm going to make some cuts and then I'll be back. I've cut all my banners and laid them out as the sketch suggested, and I wanted to show you real quick how I cut my banners super easy. There's two ways. I've just cut a scratch piece of paper here. You can take your paper on the end and just fold the corners together without creasing it, because you don't want to have a crease in your paper. So once the corners are together like that, you take your scissors from this corner and then you go up diagonally to however steep, if you want a small banner or a really tall banner, and you just make one snip diagonal, and then when you open it up you've got a banner. The other way that you can do this on the other side is to find the center, and I just eyeball this because I don't think that scrapbooking needs to be perfect. So I look at about right there, and then again, how high up do I want my banner to be, or how shallow do I want it to be? I'll go about right there, and I make a cut right in the middle, and then you go from this corner to that cut, and then from the other corner, and now you've got a banner. And when you put them all together, like I cut all of these the same way, and when you put them all on the sheet, on the page, you can't tell if they're different from each other. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. So that's what I've done. I'm going to be adding some of the circles. The title will go here, probably a little bit of journaling down here. And so what I've realized is that I'm not going to be putting anything on this white area of this layout. So I do need to ink my edges. I might do some smearing, ink smearing or smudging to mimic the messiness of his face. I haven't quite decided, but I am going to go ahead and ink my edges, and I'm going to find this green color and ink them in that. I found an old Stampin' Up ink pad. The color is called Gable green, and I'm just going around using my sponge tool and inking the edges of these photos. I'm going to bring my layout back in, put my photos back down now that they're both inked, and I'm going to work on doing some ink smearing in the white spaces of this layout to replicate the spaghetti sauce that's all over my son's face. So here I'm just taking a scrap piece of paper and pushing it into my ink pads to determine which color is going to be the best. And this is the one I'm going to use. I believe it is Barn Red by Stampin' Up. And unfortunately, I had a little bit of trouble with my video, and so you're not going to see me actually do this. But what I did was I just took a plastic bag and I put my hand in it and then pushed it into the ink. And then I just used the little squirt bottle with water to spray on top of the bag, and I just smeared it onto the paper. I printed out my title, and I found this cute little phrase, just says yum. And I was going to put this on an arrow, but I had a little bit of a hard time kind of figuring out how I wanted to go about that. And when I cut this out, it was my test print. I actually really like it just on the blue banner. I really want these banners to pop off the background though, so I'm going to go ahead and ink all of the edges, including the title and these circles that I cut in black. I did cut 3 circles because I like to have 3, but I don't like the green colors all bunched up no matter where I put it. It could maybe go up here, but then this green one is down here, and I couldn't really get them to go the way I wanted, so I took one off, and I'm going to leave it like this for now. But I'm going to go ahead and ink all the edges in black and then see where we're at and what I want to add. I inked everything, all the edges in black, including the layout itself. And I have everything glued down so you can see I did the edges of the layout and everything around it in black. And I think the black around the edges really ties in the black around all the pieces. And I wanted to show you can see because of the wet ink I put on here, the edges of this are kind of curling up. I will flip this over onto a fresh piece of white paper and set my album on it for a little while, and it will flatten out just fine. So while it isn't embellished a whole lot, I mean there's a title and there's one little circle right there, I still think that it's a very cute page, and I don't know that I need more. I don't have a whole lot of food themed supplies to go with this, and I don't want to buy more stuff. This is definitely a layout that doesn't cost much. I didn't even use a full piece of paper. I used one full piece of 12 by 12 cardstock for the back, but all of these pieces came out of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I still have this left from that piece, and I still have this left from that piece. There's a couple of scraps, and then this was cut out of a scrap. I cut out a circle that I didn't even use, but these were all scraps I already had, and I cut off a strip, a 1.5 inch strip off of the side of this paper and the circle. So if you have some scraps laying around, you could definitely make this layout. Sometimes scrapbooking can get expensive, and when I can find one that I can use up some scraps and things I already have, I'm all about that. So I don't want to go buy embellishments for this. I don't think it needs it. So I added some simple journaling down here in the corner. It just says that little story about him eating his spaghetti with his hands. And you can see that I went ahead and inked the edges of those also in the green to match the photos. I was going to put it over here on this side, but I like that there's nothing over here. It just didn't look as good over on that side. So simple but effective and finished. So I'm going to go ahead and add this one to his album, and hopefully in the next year I can get caught up. My goal is to get caught up on this. So if you like this or you learned something, please give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe so you can see other videos that I post. I try to post at least one a week, sometimes every other week. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I've linked to another video up here on the right that you can click on to watch me do some of the ink smearing that I talked about that you didn't get to see in this video. This video that I've linked here shows exactly how I do it. So if you are interested in that, please go ahead and watch that video. You can click on my picture up there to subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.